Subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon to get the latest updates.
On this beautiful sunny winter afternoon in Delhi, never mind the breeze, what are we doing? We are still talking about our boring old politics. And we talk about it because for some reason, many of you, in fact, most of you seem to like it. And political story now has moved from Delhi, from Lucknow, from the usual places, from Patna, Bihar had elections recently, to West Bengal. Because West Bengal is going to have elections next year, in fact, soon next year. And West Bengal is a frontier that BJP wants to conquer. And you have seen the BJP put in the resources that you haven't seen them put in any state as yet where they are trying to break in. So, Amit Shah has been going to West Bengal. Narendra Modi has been sending out many speeches, messages, letting West Bengal know that he is coming in. The RSS chief has visited West Bengal more times, I think, than he has visited any poll-bound state in my recollection. So, this is a big stakes thing for the BJP. They think that after having conquered Assam, they can now win West Bengal. But in West Bengal, they also have a very formidable rival, that is Mamata Banerjee. If there is one fighter left in Indian politics right now, it is Mamata Banerjee. Because look at the other regional leaders, Jagan Mohan Reddy, but he doesn't fight the BJP in Andhra. KCR, he is a fighter, but BJP is still becoming a threat to him after Hyderabad elections. He's begun to see that picture close in his rearview mirror, but still not as formidable as the BJP has become in West Bengal. None of the others, barring states like say Kerala, Tamil Nadu, etc., where BJP doesn't matter, none of the other leaders is able to fight the BJP as Mamata Banerjee does, and none of the other leaders has the BJP gone after as relentlessly and as unforgivingly as it has after Mamata Banerjee. I mean, look at Odisha, for example. Naveen Patnaik, he runs a regional party, but it seems like there is some kind of understanding there that BJP wins more parliament seats, but in the assembly people vote for Naveen Patnaik. It's also a decision that people make, but Naveen Patnaik is not somebody who's targeted by the BJP, its high command, its top campaigners, and frankly its agencies as much as Mamata Banerjee is targeted, and she is fighting back. She is nothing if not a fighter. I have seen her over many elections, and I will share a couple of my writings on the wall reports from past elections in West Bengal, and you will see her evolution as a fighter. So, she loves a fight. West Bengal election is going to be the fight of the year. Assam will also have elections, but West Bengal election will be the fight of the year. Also, this is not a state in which the Congress will play a very big role. It will play some role, and we will talk about that. So, this will be BJP with all its might, all its resources, all its agencies, and you have seen those in action. Every day you have wickets falling on the TMC side. In fact, as much as we have seen wickets falling in the first couple of days of the Adelaide test match, and people are leaving her party and joining the BJP. That is typical BJP tactics. It's shock and awe. It's also intense psychological warfare to suggest or to give the impression that the time of the incumbent has now come, that this big army is now rolling in and this fortress will also fall. And that we have seen happen. We have seen the departure, most importantly, of Suvendu Adhikari, who is a very prominent TMC leader. He, by the way, was the man who organized the Nandigram agitation against land acquisition there. And that is when, you know, this sort of extreme left opposition against these special economic zones was going on. The left government in Bengal decided to set up a big special economic zone in Nandigram to create jobs, but just as they got into trouble with their the Tata factory, Tata Nano factory in Shingur, they got into trouble over Nandigram also. So, he organized that big agitation on a very large scale, which set the stage for the destruction of the left in West Bengal after more than 3 decades. Nobody had imagined until then that the left could be shaken out of West Bengal. So that set the tone, or that set the pace for that. He has now left TMC, obviously on his way to the BJP, and that's a big setback to TMC and big plus to the BJP. Now, we have to remember that just as BJP gets its votes in the name of Narendra Modi, TMC also gets its votes in the name of Mamata Banerjee. So, individual leaders going here and there will not dent her vote bank. What it might dent is the morale of her troops, and what it might do is either to force her into mistakes or maybe dry up some contributions to her, because many business people might think that in any case, if I give money to Mamata Banerjee for her campaign, I get the attention of the agencies, and second, they might just think that she's losing now, so why invest money on the losing side? So that is how the BJP plays its game, it's going on. Now, if we want to understand what's going to happen in West Bengal and what might happen, we have to look at some numbers. And I will read these numbers, so listen carefully, and we will also run them on our screen. So I am now listing these in 4 sections: BJP, TMC, Congress and CPM, not the entire left front because the other parties don't matter so much. So BJP, TMC, Congress and CPM. Keep comparing this and I will give you some highlights as we go along. So BJP, now that's a party, see the remarkable shift in the party's fortunes. Go back to 2011 assembly elections. That's the election in which Mamata Banerjee has dislodged the left front. 2011. In fact, I have writings on the wall from that election, which I'll share with you. Now, in that assembly election, that is just 9 years back, how many seats did BJP get? It got 0 seats. How many did it contest? 289. 289 out of 294, and it won 0. It got a vote share of 4.06%, just 4% if you round it off. 2014 Lok Sabha elections. Again, the BJP comes back, contests 42 seats in contest in West Bengal. West Bengal, as you see, after Uttar Pradesh and Maharashtra, the 3rd largest contributor to the national pool of Lok Sabha seats. 42 seats in West Bengal, BJP in 2014, election that Narendra Modi swept across the country, or most parts of the country, got a full majority of his own. Even in that wave election, BJP wins 2 seats with 17% votes. I am leaving the low decimals out, so it's 17.02, I am just saying 17%. 2 out of 42, 17% of the vote. 2016 assembly election. Now, assembly election, Narendra Modi is not on the ticket. In the assembly election, BJP contests 291 seats. How many does it win? And this was 4 years back. 3 seats. It wins 3 seats and gets 10.6% of the votes. Nothing. So any party would say, could be inclined to say that Bengal is not the place for us, that even in the Modi way, we won only 2 seats, a big deal. But BJP is not the kind of party to give up. Particularly, they have an emotional thing about West Bengal. One, they want a big footprint in the east. Second, they want to hedge their base in the Hindi heartland just in case they are not able to max out their numbers as they've done in the past. So they need to hedge that in the east. They think it is more plausible there than say in Kerala and Tamil Nadu just now. And third, they also have the emotional issue that Shyama Prasad Mukherjee, who's like the founder of the BJP and Jansangh, which was the parent of BJP, he came from West Bengal. So West Bengal has been in the BJP's crosshairs, and ever since Modi and Amit Shah took over the BJP, they have targeted it. So in 2019 elections, the BJP put maximum resources and firepower into the play in West Bengal. And what happened in 2019 elections? Of the 42 seats, BJP won 18, and its vote share went to 40.64%. Now, go back to 2011, 4%, go back to come up to 2019, 40.6%. So in 9 years, BJP built its vote share 10x, 10 times, from 4% to 40.5%. That is what tells you how doggedly BJP had worked on it. And then you can see it stops 4 to 17, 10 in the assembly, then 40 in parliament. Now BJP is hoping to replicate its parliament performance in assembly elections and add a few more, and it thinks it can then be either the winner in West Bengal or definitely the second party in West Bengal. That is now, that goes without saying. Now look at other parties and you will then get the picture. Look at TMC, the same years, 2011 assembly elections. That is when Mamata Banerjee defeated the left to come to power. Her first arrival in power on the big stage. 2011 assembly, 184 seats out of 294. Comfortable enough, but she also had Congress as her partner, and Congress won 42 seats in that partnership. I will come to that. So they had a convenient, massive majority in that assembly. 2014 Lok Sabha elections, in spite of the Modi wave, she defied the Modi wave and she won 34 seats out of 42 in Lok Sabha and became one of the largest groups in national parliament, largest opposition groups. In 2016 assembly, her number went up. Now Congress was no longer her partner. She didn't even need it. So she went up to 211 out of 294, all on her own. And in 2019 Lok Sabha, the picture changed a bit. 2014, she had bucked the Modi wave and still got 34 votes. But now BJP had worked for 5 years in West Bengal, had worked on weakening her, had worked on getting defectors out of her party, and also in building its own party. So in 2019, she was down to 22 seats in Lok Sabha. So she still got more than the BJP, but the BJP now was too close for comfort. Now, I've given you the seat numbers. See the vote share, and that's where lies a story. Her vote share in 2011 assembly was 39.9%, say 40%. And that is in spite of the fact that Congress was her partner, so some vote went to the Congress also. So she was quite comfortable. In 2014 Lok Sabha elections, in the Modi wave, this was 39.8%. You can again say 40%. So about the same. In 2016 assembly elections, now this is where she doesn't need the Congress. She doesn't have the Congress. So apparently, some of the vote that the Congress may have taken on her behalf has now come back to her. So 2016 assembly, she has 44.9% of the vote, or let's say 45% of the vote. And 2019 Lok Sabha, when she gets 22 seats, she still gets 43.7% of the vote. That is almost 44% of the vote. So if you see this, then 2011, you have to qualify it by saying that Congress was her partner, so they contested a certain number of seats. So if you extrapolate her numbers through this period would remain about 43-44%. So her number of votes has remained more or less constant. So even as BJP has grown, BJP has not cut into her vote bank. Even 2019 election, she got 44% of the vote. BJP got, say, 41, if you round off 40.6. So there was still a gap. Now, where is her vote? Her vote is intact. Where is the BJP's vote coming from? That is the key to understanding what might happen in West Bengal. So let's look at some of the others. Let's look at the Congress party and go the same way. 2011, we told you Congress was partners with TMC. So Congress got 9% of the vote. So 9%, and you can see that what happened in the subsequent assembly elections. Say about 5% of it, 5 percentage points came in from TMC. That was vote transfer to the Congress. So 9% in 2011 assembly. 2014 Lok Sabha. Now this is Lok Sabha. So Congress is a national party. They have a certain presence. Pranab Mukherjee is the president of India. So Congress wins 4 seats out of 42 on its own, 4, with 9.7% of the vote. So its vote share remains the same even in Lok Sabha. But you can say that in this case, no vote was transferred from Mamata Banerjee. So that was Congress's more loyal vote share at that point, just about 9%. That is what the Congress had in UP also around that time. Then you come to 2016 Assembly. 2016 Assembly, Congress goes ahead and makes the mistake, in my view, and you will find my stories on that election as well. I will try and find them in the archives and share with you. 2016 Assembly, Congress wins 44 seats, and that after Congress party is an alliance with the left. That I think is a mistake, because Mamata Banerjee is somebody who was formerly in Congress. She was more steeped in Congress culture. She got estranged. She left the Congress. She had been partners with the Congress during the UPA regime, but now Congress broke away from her and partnered with the left. It did not work at all. So 2016, Congress got 44. As we told you, 2016, Mamata Banerjee herself got 211 out of 294. So it was a rout for the Congress and the left got completely routed. I will come to that. 2019 Lok Sabha elections, again, and these left alliances are not formal alliances. These are tacit alliances. 2019 Lok Sabha, again there was a tacit alliance between Congress and the left. Congress won 2 seats out of 42. And what was the vote share? In 2016 Assembly, Congress got 12.25%. That obviously because the left front transferred some of its vote to the Congress, and Congress got to contest more seats than they might have got when they were partners with TMC. So that is notional. And 2019 Lok Sabha elections, Congress was down to 5.6%. And remember, 2019 Lok Sabha elections, TMC was again up to about 44%. So you can see that the 5 percentage points that the TMC had transferred to the Congress earlier had now come back to the TMC, and Congress's real strength in West Bengal is just about 5 to 6%. Even the 12% they got in 2016 was because of their alliance with the left front. We run through the same tally for the CPM. 2011 Assembly, 40 seats they won, 30% of the vote. Not bad, but that is when they lost power. They were punch drunk, all these agitations had gone on, Shangur, Nandigram, etc., etc., etc. Mamata ran a brilliant campaign. Congress and Mamata were together, so left were thrown out of power. 40 seats, 30% vote. 2014 Lok Sabha, very important, only 2 seats. Remember, it was West Bengal that had given such a strength to the left that they were able to play the tail that wagged the dog of UPA. I say it as no interest to human beings or no insult to human beings and dogs. I love dogs. It's just a metaphor. So the left front became the tail that wagged the UPA's dog in UPA 1 because they swept West Bengal. Now they got 2 seats in 2014. That's less than the Congress. Congress got 4 in 2014 with 23% of the vote, 22.96, but let's say 23% of the vote. 2016 Assembly, now they do even worse. They have 26 seats, although they are in tacit alliance with the Congress. We told you Congress got 40 odd. Left now got 26 seats with about 20% of the vote. And then 2019 Lok Sabha, they again have a tacit alliance with Congress. And you know what happens? How many seats do they get? Big fat 0. So they get a 0 or a duck in 2019. And what is their vote share in spite of a tacit alliance with the Congress? It's 6.3%. So you are now left with these 2 parties of also ranks. So if you now pick up the thread from 2019 Lok Sabha elections, you are looking at Mamata Banerjee at 44%, BJP at 41%, and Congress and the left with the wooden spoon, as we say in sport. So 6%, 6%, अगर दोनों का मिला के भी बना तो 12%. So they really don't look like a serious player right now. But this is more complicated than that. In 2021 now, Congress and left have formally decided to have an alliance in West Bengal. In fact, CPM Central Committee has approved it. And you saw a picture of that on the steps of Rashtrapati Bhavan when opposition leaders had gone to meet the Rashtrapati to protest against the farm bills. When Rahul Gandhi speaks to the press, he has Sitaram Yechury of CPM to his left and D. Raja of CPI to his right. Now, I said just a couple of minutes back that I think the Congress erred earlier in aligning with the left, because Mamta would have been a more natural ally to the Congress, and they've been allies before, I'll tell you about that. But it also seems now that Rahul Gandhi's own ideological and personal affinity is to the left, maybe ideologically as well as personally. So he has chosen to stay with them. Now he's not on the winning side because this alliance is not going to win. But this alliance can have an impact on this election. How? Now, when you talk percentages, but you are only looking at a universe of 100, because your voters may be 100 crores, but your percentage is 100. You want a larger percentage of that to win in the first past the post system. You have two parties. One has kept its vote share consistent. It's ossified. Even BJP, after so much trying, has not been able to shake it. That is Mamata Banerjee. Even in 2019 Parliament, 44%. The other is BJP, which has now come to 41%. BJP needs to go up to say 43, 44% and hope that Mamata comes back to 41, 42%, and first past the post system, BJP can easily beat Mamata Banerjee if it's a sharp election like that. Now, if your universe was just 100 to begin with, and Mamata Banerjee has kept her vote share of 40+%, whereas the BJP got its vote share from. Now, Congress had very little vote earlier. It was the left which had the vote earlier, and it's one of those paradoxes of Indian politics that in Tripura as well as West Bengal, it is the committed left voters and workers who've moved lock, stock and barrel to the BJP. So what is Mamata Banerjee hoping this time? She sees the problem, she sees the challenge, but she's hoping that this Congress-CPM alliance works really well. That is also the learning I get from D.K. Singh, our political editor, that if this alliance works well, this will take away the vote that is the anti-incumbency vote against Mamata Banerjee, which would have otherwise gone to the BJP. So even if they take 3, 4, 5% of that vote, then the gap between Mamata Banerjee and BJP is maintained in her favor. So this alliance now will actually, if it works, if it gets more votes than it's done in the past, it will only work to Mamata Banerjee's benefit. Beyond that, it can't do very much. It can be a spoiler for the BJP. It is not in the running for power. Now, before I conclude, I will tell you a few interesting facts about West Bengal. Mamata Banerjee is somebody who's been in partnership with both the Congress and the BJP in the past. She founded her party in 1998, I think January 1, 1998. Her first alliance was with the BJP because then the common enemy was the left in West Bengal. She was also a minister in Vajpayee's cabinet, in fact, a minister that Vajpayee liked very much, but there were management issues, but Vajpayee liked her very much and she liked Vajpayee very much. After the Vajpayee era, she joined UPA, so she was part of UPA. Then she left the UPA. The only party that she has not been partners as yet is the left, because she saw the left as an enemy. She was also physically attacked by workers of the left. She was injured very badly, and that is when her real fighter character came out, the Royal Bengal Tigress or Democratic Bengal Tigress. That character then came out. So she was never going to tie up with the left, but with both other formulations, that is UPA as well as the NDA, she had gone in the past. Now she is fighting the NDA or she is fighting the BJP. Now what is the BJP going into these polls as its sort of flagship, its idea flagship or ideological flagship? That is illegal immigration, which is a code word for Muslim population, the large number of Muslim voters. Now 2011 census showed the number of Muslims in West Bengal to be about little over 27%. Folklore now is, the BJP has spread the folklore that it's actually more than 40% because there is a lot of illegal immigration. I think that is highly exaggerated. But I buy the idea that the Muslim voters number is about the same in West Bengal as in Assam, which is a little over 30%. So BJP knows they are not going to get that vote. So their future lies in getting the rest, getting more of the rest, non-Muslims, to vote against those 33% or 32% Muslims, so the BJP wins. So BJP is then batting in a 50-over match. BJP is batting in 35 overs, and they have a higher asking rate or higher strike rate. That's why they are going with that polarization as their lead weapon, or as the tip of their spear in West Bengal. Now Mamata Banerjee says this is all nonsense, this is communal, but can she say there are no illegal immigrants in West Bengal? She probably will say it in the elections, because it's politics, you can say whatever you want. But 2005 in Lok Sabha, she is the one who made a big ruckus, and she talked about illegal immigrants, migrants from Bangladesh in West Bengal being a big disaster. In fact, there is a quote from her that Arun Jaitley used to like to share all the time. It's the exact quote of what she said in Parliament. The infiltration in Bengal has become a disaster now. I have both India and Bangladeshi voters in my voters list. So what do? I have Bangladeshi voters also on my voters list. This is a very serious matter. I would like to know when it will be discussed in the House. Now, it wasn't discussed in the House. She got upset. Somnath Chatterjee did not accept her adjournment motion. She got angry. Then she tried her luck with Deputy Speaker Atwal, who also said no. She got really angry and she stormed into the well of the House and also tore off the papers she was holding. So, if tearing off papers is a pap, official papers is a pap, then this pap or this sin has been committed by many other people we know. Rahul Gandhi committed it. Now Arvind Kejriwal has committed it. But before them, even Mamata Banerjee had committed it in Lok Sabha. And that was over the immigration issue. And that's where she gets into a little bit of a mess. But in politics, you can always forget what you said in the past. So the sum total is that what you're looking at in West Bengal is a complete dramatic shift on the states, in the state's politics, from almost nothing, from 4% to 41% the BJP now, and if they can take it up to 42, 43, then you will see what might have looked like a miracle in West Bengal a long time back. In fact, it's such a strange situation that even in Naxalbari, from where the extreme left or Naxal movement rose in India and from where it draws its name, even there BJP is now very well entrenched. It is the BJP's fortress in Bengal. So this is a dramatic story, and this takes me back to a conversation I had, and I hope he is listening now, with Mr. Shyambal Datta. Shyambal Datta was an IPS officer of the legendary 1965 batch of the IPS. He became director, he's from West Bengal cadre. He became Director of Intelligence Bureau under Vajpayee between 1998 to 2001. And he said to me in a conversation once, he said, you have no idea how quickly and how comprehensively West Bengal will take to the BJP in the course of time. In fact, he said, West Bengal will take to the BJP as no other state has done. At that point, I thought that maybe he was biased, he was working for the BJP government. Also, he was from West Bengal cadre, but it took some time, but he's now been completely vindicated, because BJP has now moved into a space in West Bengal, throwing out both the Congress and the left. And the fate of Mamata Banerjee in this election actually might depend on whether Congress and the left together can cross just double figures in vote percentages or not, or how much further can they go from double figures. So if they get 12%, Mamata Banerjee's odds improve. 15-17%, Mamata Banerjee's odds will be very, very good.